I asked for binoculars. Among a sea of corn, I asked for something that would allow me to get a better view of corn. I was 14, and I didn't ask for much, so I think my parents were resigned to not understanding me as the developing teen. So they just looked at each other with concerned and raised eyebrows before immediately caving in and ordering Dr. Optics 10x50 deluxe binoculars from the Butt K catalog. I waited 2 whole weeks to the day for them to arrive, and I thought about them constantly before they did. They arrived on the doorstep in the farmhouse at the a.m., but it wasn't until midnight that I actually utilized them from my bedroom window. See, for 2 weeks I had witnessed absolute debauchery from my window. Almost every night, a group of about 15 college-age students would wade into the growing cornfield with backpacks full of beer, whiskey, dildos, condoms, everything, and proceed to strip down and do anything and everything. I was desperate for a closer look. With a few exceptions, these were the first people I had ever seen naked or having sex, in life or in print. Once I had honed in on them that night, I dropped my pants. I was so sexually frustrated that both men and women aroused me. They were all so attractive. Even the chubby ones, even the ones that aren't what you would call Hollywood beautiful. Because of the corn stalks, I couldn't see everything, but I saw enough. I mean, everyone was with everyone, regardless of gender. But there was this one tall-built Latino guy with a massive member that everyone wanted to round with. And he would just stand there with his firm but slim arms hanging by his sides, just waiting for women to back into his girthy cock or for a curious guy to lick pussy juice off of it until they were satisfied. So even if everyone was fucking laying down, I could at least watch him and his partner of the moment. I didn't last long the first night, but I kept watching into the wee hours of the morning. The days of my life became a laborious wait for the show of the night. The afternoons became a search for a whiff of sex or orgy paraphernalia, always with no avail. And the night became a raw routine of flesh and youth. And the mornings became harder and harder as sleep became rare. The only time I was happy was when I was watching the show. The only time I got a full 8 hours of sleep were when the college kids didn't appear. But I'd be grouchier in the morning than if I had gotten sleep. I toyed with the idea of joining them. But I feared the rejection, and those silly ideas would subside after I came a few times. But then I devised a simple plan that had no risk. I'd sneak into the cornfield around 11:40 and wait. When they arrived, my heart was in my throat. I did my best to put on a perplexed expression and say, "What are y'all doing here?" Now, I don't think they bought it. They stripped down, and I was frozen until the Latino guy said, "What you waiting for, kid?" while pointing at his flaccid beauty. Parts of the following hour and a half felt really great. A few parts hurt. A few parts I didn't want to do, but did anyway. A few parts didn't taste too good. One of the girls was really sweet and let me rest while she did the work. All of it was embarrassing. None of it I regretted. However, when we got dressed, they escorted me to their cars. I got in with them and drove to a public bathroom, where they all pissed and shat in plain view of one another. We hung around and drank in the boys' room, all of us. No one talked. Everyone looked somber. Then an elderly man came in. The Latino guy duct-taped his mouth, and the sweet girl taped up his wrists. Out of fear, I joined in the festivities. The sweet girl drove me home. The old man was in the Latino guy's trunk. The sweet girl explained that they only beat a person to death once a month. I joined them 7 more times. Perhaps longer if I'm not lying.